Hey everybody, welcome back to the Clinical Trials Guru. I'm here with Chris. I don't know what he wants to talk about.
Wait, yes you do.
What do you want to talk about?
No, just some emails that I encountered today in terms of how things seem to be changing drastically in the industry in terms of budgeting.
Explain.
So,
because I really don't know what you're talking about.
So typically, and I'm sure you would agree with this, well, let's go back 10 years ago. When you would get a budget, right, it came in an Excel spreadsheet every time.
That's right.
Right, every time.
Sometimes Word, but yeah, mostly Excel.
But was it broken down by assessment 10 years ago?
Almost every time.
Okay, so they started to move away from that a few years ago. More often than not, they're coming in with the Word only, right, not broken down by assessment, right?
Right.
And we were going to say that's to what?
I think it could be construed as a strategy for them to cut costs.
I would agree.
Because you don't negotiate what you don't see. And they know most sites are not going to
take the time
to break down the protocol into its individual visits and then those individual assessments during the visit. So they probably save money. And the good sites will do that.
Completely agree. I'm 90% certain. That's the only reason to do that, especially now when I'm doing I do a lot of budget negotiation for our clients. Mm-hmm. And when they send, I would say now half the time it comes in a Word document, right? When it used to be probably 10 years ago, at most 10% came in a Word document, at most, right?
Yeah.
Now it's at least half. And when you send in a budget sheet, an Excel sheet, spreadsheet, right, with the budget broken down by assessments, line item, they come back and say, we don't negotiate this way. They won't even entertain looking at it that way, right? You just have to do it by visit.
So if you're a site, and let's say you don't have the luxury of having DSCS negotiate your budgets, mm-hmm. What would you do? What do you do if you're that site?
You got to take the schedule of assessments, you got to break it down, put it in a spreadsheet, and put all the...
Do the math.
Right, put in all the visits that require each line item, and tally up the totals, right? Along with everything else that you're billing for that visit.
Is this now the norm?
It's moving towards the norm. What's scary, I don't know if it's scary, but what's changing even further is now they're making sites bid on studies, right? 3 emails today alone from 3 different clients, right? In which the sponsor, and I've ran into this a few times, even for our sites, the sites we own, I've ran into this, but not too often. Maybe twice in the last year, I ran into it now 3 times today, right? Different sponsors, in which the sponsor's sending them the schedule of assessments and saying, what are you going to charge per completed patient to do this study?
How do you know they're bidding?
Well, what else would you call it, right? So they're sending out the schedule of assessments to all the sites that they're considering for the study.
So it's almost like an RFP,
right?
Request for proposal that the sponsor sent to the CROs.
Exactly.
So now the CROs are doing that, or is this from the sponsors or the CROs, or you've seen it from both?
Both. Whoever's in charge of budget negotiation.
So does this change the strategy for getting? Let's say you're a new site, let's say you're inexperienced.
I think it does, because
now you want to underbid just like the CROs do.
Yep. But the problem is, some of them hold you to that bid.
Yeah.
Right? Not always. I've seen it both ways.
Like when it comes to the actual budget negotiation.
Right. When they say, okay, you've been awarded the study now, here's your budgeting contract.
And they say, we have it documented that you've agreed.
You come back and say, well, we want this budget's not acceptable. They said, no, that's not what you said. What you said was this.
Can you say, well, looking at the protocol
something's changed. So that was a conversation with one of the clients I had today. I asked the client if do they send you the schedule of assessments or not? Because I've seen it both ways, where they'll ask for a bid without the schedule of assessments. And he said they sent the schedule of assessments. And I said, that's unfortunate, because it's in your benefit if they had not. Because what you were just about to say, you can use that.
You can.
Right, if they didn't send the schedule of assessments.
But now they do.
Right.
So it's basically what you're saying is it's getting harder for the sites. What does a new site do? Do they have to now think about how to underbid?
Well, you don't. I see, in my opinion, I don't know. I've not been on the CRO sponsor side, but I don't think you want to underbid by too much. I think you still need to be in the realm of fair market, just on the low side, right? Because if they're going to hold you to this number, one, you don't want to be well underpaid, and two, if they think your bid's ridiculous. Like, let's say fair market value is 20,000 a patient, and you're bidding 3,000.
Once you add up all the assessments for that study,
Right.
fair
If
market
you're-
value is 20,000.
Right, and you're bidding 3, they know that's not correct. They probably know you're underbidding, and who knows what you're going to ask for when it comes time,
Yeah.
when you're awarded the study.
Yeah.
Right? They have no indication. So I think if you're safer on the low end of fair market value, at least you're in the realm of what's fair, and you're not you're not ridiculously low.
But if you're a new site, you don't even know what fair market
Yeah, it's
value
a problem.
is. How do you find that?
It's a problem. You can't.
How would you find it? Let's say you started all over again.
I'm brand new to the industry.
You don't know anything.
I call us.
Okay, besides that, let's say
I don't think you have an option. How else are you going to find prices?
Medicare reimbursement.
That's
rate?
not fair market for industry. It's not.
So you're basically screwed if you.
I think so. I really do.
And we're moving away from Dr. Kingsley, who's a key opinion leader in this space. He's pushing for pay for performance.
Well,
we're
not
actually
all-
moving away from that, right?
So again, not all sponsors are doing this. Matter of fact, this is very much the minority.
Still.
Right. But maybe this catches on and everybody does this.
But you're saying this has been increasing
Yes.
lately.
Absolutely.
So it could be a trend.
It could be.
We're not trying to be alarmist, or at least you're not trying to be alarmist, because
Right.
I don't know much about this topic.
Right.
Now that you're negotiating all the budgets.
Sure, but 3 times in a day is very odd.
All different studies?
Yep.
Interesting.
All different. All 3 are different.
So be on the lookout for this possible trend. We don't know. Stay tuned to our YouTubes and the podcast to stay informed on this stuff.
3 different clients, 3 different studies, all 3 wanting a bid.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Any
that's covered.
actionable advice?
Again, like I said, if you're somewhat research naive, really have no idea what to bid on the study, reach out to us. We're more than happy to do this for you. And I'm not trying to sell our services, but at the same time I am. Because I really don't know what else you would do.
Yeah. And get us while we're still cheap. We haven't raised our prices yet,
This is true.
despite people telling us to. All right. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Catch you all later. Bye-bye.